So is the screen visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So we were discussing about solid carbon dioxide. We discussed the various features of the solid carbon dioxide. Let me give you a revise that. This is the critical point, 73.8 bar. This is the triple point, which is in this diagram. It's a triple point line rather. The pressure is 5.18 bar, and this is the triple point temperature. And if you see this particular line, this is the sublimation line. Okay, and the temperature is minus 78.5 degrees Celsius, and the pressure corresponding to it is 1.01325 bar. So now let us see it here. Figure 5.11 shows the relevant thermodynamic characteristics of CO2, which make it suitable to be used in solid state at atmospheric pressure, commonly known as dry ice. So basically, it is showing a cycle. Actually, it is a vapor compression cycle with the help of which we can manufacture the solid carbon dioxide. The name is derived from the fact that solid carbon dioxide sublimates into vapor at atmospheric pressure and temperature. So this I have already told you. This is the atmospheric pressure, and the corresponding temperature uh, for this sublimation is minus 78.5 degrees Celsius. So naturally, when the surrounding temperature is say 35 degrees Celsius, when the heat will be going into this solid carbon dioxide, the sublimation will take place. Okay. The sublimation of the solid carbon dioxide into vapor at normal atmospheric pressure is made possible because its triple point pressure is 5.18 bar. So triple point is 5.18 bar. So basically this is the line, actually triple point line, and here you can say it is liquid plus vapor, and here you have the solid plus vapor. On the left hand side it's solid, on the here left hand side it is liquid. So this is liquid towards this side, and this is solid towards this side. If you go towards this side, this liquid will change into liquid plus vapor. If you go into this direction, the solid will change into solid plus vapor. Okay. So you can see what it says is the sublimation of solid carbon dioxide into vapor at normal atmospheric pressure is made possible because its triple point pressure is 5.18 bar. So what has been shown here, you know about the vapor compression cycle. This is the starting point of the cycle. This is after the compression, and this compression is taking place up to 69 bar, which is just below critical pressure. And the temperature here at this particular point, you can see, is 28 degrees Celsius, which is just below the critical temperature of 31 degrees Celsius. So in the condensation process at point number 3, this is, you can say, this is the liquid CO2 here at point number 3. Once the expansion takes place in expansion device up to this particular point, up to here, the carbon dioxide is in the liquid form up to this particular point, because it is the triple point line and all three phases are coexisting. You can see the liquid phase is here, vapor phase is here. So above this particular point, if the carbon dioxide is just above here, then it is liquid plus vapor. At this particular point, it is liquid, vapor, and solid. All three phases will be existing. The moment you go downwards, you will have no liquid left, and it would be all solid plus vapor. Actually, it's all solid plus vapor. So at point number 4, what happens? Because this is the pressure 5.18 bar. If you are taking the liquid carbon dioxide below this particular pressure, naturally you will get this solid. So at point number 4, we get solid carbon dioxide as well as the vapor CO2. Okay. So here the dryness fraction is given 0.76. So it means 76% is the vapor or the gas CO2, and 24% is the solid CO2. So solid CO2 can be used for the purpose of refrigeration. As I told you, this is the heat which we are supplying, and then at point number 6, it will get converted to the saturated vapor, And sometimes what we do actually is solid carbon dioxide we are not directly using for refrigeration purpose. So what we will do, suppose if I am considering 1 kg of the CO2 at point number 3, and at point number 4, this 1 kg has two parts. What are those two parts? One is, I can say it is 240 grams of solid CO2, and the remaining is 760 grams of vapor CO2. Okay, so vapor CO2, that means we take out this 240 grams of the solid carbon dioxide from the system. So we are only left with 760 grams of the saturated vapor of CO2, which is at point number 6. So the vapor is available here, whereas the carbon dioxide, solid carbon dioxide, is available at this particular point. And the combination of the two is point number 4. So naturally, when we have removed 240 grams of the solid carbon dioxide, we have to replenish it. So we have the makeup gas at the ambient condition, say 35 degrees Celsius. We take the solid vapor gas CO2 here, which is equivalent to 240 grams. Okay, and then this gas which is here is mixed with this vapor of CO2, and then finally we get this particular state point, which is state point 1 at the entry to the compressor. So its temperature will depend upon the ratio of the point number 6, and the ratio of if I call this point as 0 here. Okay, so this is 0 I am calling. So it will depend upon 0 and 6 in which ratio they are mixing. So accordingly the temperature at 1 will be known. So then from 1 to 2, the CO2 gas is compressed in the compressor. Okay, at point number 2, you can see what is the pressure here. The pressure here is, just focus here, it is 69 bar. What is the pressure at point number 1? Tell me.
Sir, 1.01325 bar.
Correct. And what is the pressure ratio then? Approximately value of pressure ratio.
69.
69. So the pressure ratio is 69. So you can understand it's a very, very high pressure ratio. And do you know what should be the pressure ratio in case of a single stage maximum value?
Around 4 to 5.
Around 4 to 5. Okay, so 4, 5, 5.5, not more than that. And here we are having a pressure ratio which is 69, or say 68. It's varying between 68 and 69. So it's a huge pressure ratio. So that's not good actually for the system actually. And you know, when the pressure ratio is high, the volumetric efficiency is very, very low. So let us read further. That is, it is greater than 1 atmosphere. Okay, this you know already. At the triple point, also the triple point is minus 56.6. So I will read it. I have already explained it, which is much below the normal ambient temperature. Matlab, see, we are talking about the temperature here actually. This is the temperature line. So this is minus 56.6. Hence, heat can flow from the surroundings to the solid CO2 exposed to the atmosphere to sublimate it. So basically, it is being talked about this particular point when we have 7 240 grams of solid CO2, we can utilize it uh, because the temperature is minus 78.5 degrees Celsius. So you have the solid carbon dioxide at this particular temperature. So you must have seen the cubes of the solid carbon dioxide probably in the marriage parties. I don't know whether you have seen or not, but I have seen it. Okay, so uh, you get the solid CO2 in the form of the cubes actually, the similar to the ice cubes which you get in your refrigerator actually. Okay, and because the temperature is very low and the outside, for example, if you want to cool the cold drinks during the summer season, okay, you take it up, you put all the cold drinks and you pour also the dry ice in that tank or container. So immediately, because the temperature of the dry ice is very low, it takes away the heat from the cold drink. So the cold drinks will be chilled immediately within a short span of the time. So thus the heat of sublimation of CO2. So basically this solid will directly convert into vapor. There won't be any liquid phase. At the atmospheric pressure, can be conveniently utilized to provide refrigeration, especially for preservation of the foods in transport. So this is one of the very good applications, because in transport refrigeration, we cannot go for the vapor compression system with the other refrigerants, because if we are using other refrigerants and if they leak out during the transportation, so that would be a problem for us. Okay, like now this COVID vaccine which has come, Pfizer vaccine, they say that you require a temperature of minus 70 degree to store it. Suppose in US, if they are transporting it, so they won't be going for such systems which are running on actually vapor compression cycle with say R134A or some other refrigerant. They will directly use solid CO2, because you can always know what quantity is required, and you know its temperature is minus 78.5. So it is a very good possibility when you are transporting the Pfizer vaccine from one place to other place. You can use solid carbon dioxide easily, and it can maintain a temperature of minus 70 degree also in the trucks. Okay, but when once you reach at the storage location, at that particular point you need to have a cascade system. There also you can go for solid carbon dioxide, but probably it would be better if you have a cascade system where you are maintaining a temperature of minus 70 degree Celsius in the evaporator. And if you have attended the lecture on the cascade refrigeration, which I told you, I have told you that in a cascade system we can go up to minus 88, minus 90 degree Celsius also, and that temperature is required for the storage of blood. So whenever you are donating blood, this blood is to be stored at minus 88 degrees Celsius. And sometimes we have to test our weaponry also, weapons also, like tanks and say guns and other things, or other artillery that we are using in Ladakh area, where the temperature is very very low, sometimes goes up to minus 40, minus 45 degrees Celsius. So all those equipments are also to be tested at low temperature. Okay, so for that a cascade system is required. Okay, now this has been talked, some talk is done about the triple point of water, which is 0.00611 bar, which is much below 1 atmosphere. Okay, this is much below 1 atmosphere. Thus in case of uh, atmospheric pressure, water ice first melts and then evaporates. So water के केस में तो आपको पता ही है, पहले ice बनता है, it is liquid which is get converting to solid, and when it melts once again it converts into liquid. It doesn't converts directly into vapor actually. So there we have to supply the latent heat of fusion of ice. Here in case of CO2 we are supplying the latent heat of sublimation of solid carbon dioxide. Also the triple point of water is 0.01 degree Celsius, and its fusion temperature, fusions mean at which temperature the ice formation takes place or its melting takes place, so that is the fusion temperature. So thus water ice, even when melting, can be used for refrigeration only above 0 degrees Celsius, because its fusion temperature is 0 degrees Celsius, so you won't be able to produce a cooling below 0 degrees Celsius. Yes, if you are keeping the ice at a lower temperature of minus 20 degrees Celsius, if the ice temperature is minus 20 degrees Celsius, then naturally you can go for refrigeration temperature, which would be minus 15 or minus 10 degrees Celsius. But if it is ice at 0 degrees Celsius, in that particular case, to maintain a temperature of minus 10, it won't be feasible. Okay, the normal boiling point of the water is 100 degrees Celsius. In case of now, what about this normal boiling point? This normal boiling point of 100 degrees Celsius is corresponding to a pressure of 1.01325 bar for the water. Okay, I am talking about water. But if it is CO2, in case of CO2, because at minus 78.5 degrees Celsius, the pressure is atmospheric, and you know at this particular temperature and this particular pressure, the carbon dioxide is existing in solid plus vapor phase. So there is no normal boiling point. Normal boiling point relates only to when liquid converts into vapor. That is the normal boiling point. If solid is converting into vapor, then it is not normal boiling point, rather it is a uh, sublimation point actually. Okay, and in case of CO2 the value is minus 78.52, and this is the value of normal sublimation point or normal sublimation temperature. Okay, so in case of CO2 the fusion temperature and the normal boiling point have no meaning. So this is very very important. So कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड के केस में फ्यूजन टेम्परेचर का कोई मतलब नहीं है, क्योंकि कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड लिक्विड फेज में जाती ही नहीं है। ठीक है, और नॉर्मल बॉइलिंग पॉइंट भी नहीं है, क्योंकि बॉयल तो कर ही नहीं रही लिक्विड से वेपर में, ये तो सीधा का सीधा सॉलिड से वेपर में कन्वर्ट हो रही है। तो इसके केस में कोई भी ऐसा फंडा नहीं है कि इसका कोई नॉर्मल बॉइलिंग पॉइंट हो या इसका कोई फ्यूजन टेम्परेचर हो। ओके, और इसका सिर्फ एक ही टेम्परेचर है, और वो टेम्परेचर है नॉर्मल सब्लिमेशन टेम्परेचर। नॉर्मल सब्लिमेशन टेम्परेचर इज -78.52 डिग्री सेल्सियस। Now, what is the critical temperature? We have already discussed 31, critical pressure 73.8, and this is the point. The use of CO2 in a simple vapor compression cycle is possible only if the condensation is achieved at a temperature below 31 degrees Celsius. Very, very important point. This is a very, very important point. I explained you the transcritical cycle last time, and I told you that when we are using CO2, then the condenser temperature has to be below you can say 31 degrees Celsius. Okay, so if the condenser temperature is less than 31 degrees Celsius, only then we can go for using CO2 in a subcritical VCR cycle, vapor compression refrigeration cycle. Okay, so subcritical means the temperature of the condenser is below the critical point. So this is the critical point, and here you can see what is the temperature during the condensation. This is basically यहाँ से यहाँ तक. This temperature is basically condenser temperature, which is shown to be 28 degrees Celsius. Even I will say that it is also quite a high temperature. That is why what you are finding here is that at this particular point, at point number 4, you are getting 760 grams of the vapor and only 240 grams of the solid carbon dioxide. So if we reduce this temperature to say 25 degrees Celsius, then this line may shift towards here. So the quantity of the solid carbon dioxide will increase. So lower the temperature here, जितना भी लो होगा उससे एडवांटेज हमें क्या मिलेगा कि सॉलिड कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड जो होगी दैट फॉर्मेशन दैट वुड बी larger in quantity, and that can only happen if your ambient temperature is here. This is the ambient temperature. अगर ambient temperature से 15 डिग्री सेल्सियस है और यहाँ then you can go up to say 20 डिग्री सेल्सियस, ये मैंने माना 25 है, ये 28 है. So lower the ambient temperature, you can reduce the condenser temperature to that level. Means if the ambient temperature is 15 degrees Celsius, then the condenser temperature will be 20 degrees Celsius. If the ambient temperature is 20, then the condenser temperature will be 25. And if the ambient is 25, then the condenser temperature will be 28. You cannot go above 28. The moment you go above 28, the yield yield means whatever is the solid carbon dioxide which is being produced, that will reduce a lot. So its quantity will be very less, and the power requirement in the cycle will be very very high. As I have already told you that in the present scenario, when the uh, temperature of the condenser is 28 degrees Celsius, the pressure ratio is coming out to be 69. Okay, is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so let us proceed further. Okay, for the manufacture of solid CO2, this I have already explained you. The solid carbon dioxide is first compressed from 1 to 2. ये process है. Condensed from 2 to 3 at 28 and 69 bar, and then expanded to atmospheric pressure at point number 4 in a snow chamber. This is important here. You should know that you expand it in a snow chamber during 3 to 4, because now there is a problem in the snow chamber also. What is happening actually when you are expanding this liquid? This is the saturated liquid and you are expanding up to this point, you don't have any problem. The moment you switch over to this particular point, what will happen to the expansion device? What will happen in the expansion device?
सर वो क्लोग हो सकती है.
clog हो जाएगी because it's a solid.
Yes,
See,
sir.
this CO2 is getting converted into solid form. So solid will actually choke the system. Okay. So solid carbon dioxide or dry ice can be removed at state point 5. I have already told you the vapor at 6, vapor is here. After mixing with the makeup gas at 7, this is the makeup gas. So this is point number 7. I told it is 0. So it's okay. It is led to the compressor. The power requirement for the above cycle is of the order of 400 to 500 horsepower hour per ton of solid carbon dioxide produced. So that means for you can say 1000 kg of CO2 when you are producing. So this much is the horsepower per hour that you are supplying. So it's a huge horsepower. Okay. One of the main reasons for such high power consumption is the high pressure ratio that is of the order of 70. Okay. So it's nearly 70, 69 or 70, one and the same thing. So this suggests the three-staged compression with pressure ratio of each stage equal to this much. You told that the pressure ratio in a stage should be 4 to 5. So if we consider that it is 4 in a first stage, if it is 4, then in the second stage it would be 16. And the third stage it would be, the pressure would be 64. So this is the ratio of the pressures actually. 4, 16 and 64. And the pressure ratio from, so first stage is from 1 to 4, second stage is from 4 to 16, and the third stage is from 16 to 64. So that will be actually equal pressure ratio in each stage, and here they are saying that 4.1. So when you will take it 1 is to 4.1 into, you multiply, then 16.81, then multiply you it once again by 4.5, so probably you may be getting 69. Okay, so that is how it has been done. Another problem in the process of manufacture is the blocking of the expansion device by the formation of dry ice. We have already discussed about it. This can be eliminated by first producing liquid CO2 at a pressure slightly above the triple point pressure, and then reducing its pressure to 1 atmosphere in a snow chamber. Okay, in a snow chamber. So basically just try to understand it. What this line is saying, that go up to this particular point. Okay, it's liquid plus vapor. Now what you do, see, vapor will be separating out. Now you pass this liquid, uh, and in the snow chamber the pressure drops to 1 atmosphere. Okay, so at this particular point you throw it into the snow chamber. So what will happen, there will be, in the snow chamber there will be solid and vapor. So snow chamber will be having a door, you can open it and take out the solid carbon dioxide, and the vapor will be sucked by the compressor at point number 6. Is
Sir,
it clear? Yes.
sir, how the liquid is separated from that point above triple point?
No, see, we will store the liquid somewhere. We will store the liquid somewhere and then send it to the snow chamber. Okay,
So
in the
it will
snow,
separate out automatically from the vapor.
see, I think you must know that the vapor and liquid, they automatically separate out. If there is a container, closed container, where the vapor would be, on the
Above the
top
liquid, sir.
above the liquid. So the vapor can always be extracted from the top of a container, whereas the liquid can be taken always from the bottom of the container. And you have seen in the multi compression system also, we incorporate a flash chamber
Yes,
or a
sir.
flash intercooler. What we are doing there, in case we have to separate out liquid and vapor, we have a flash intercooler. From the top we take out the vapor part, and from the bottom of the flash intercooler or flash chamber we take out the liquid part. So same thing we are doing here at this particular point, where I am showing this particular point. Okay, so we are storing the liquid separately, and we are taking out the vapor. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, now what we will do now, even if we have a single snow chamber, the snow chamber can also be means continuously cannot be used. We need to have two snow chambers actually. Okay, this will be clear to you. Now, what does it means? It says that this can be means the choking. See, we are talking about the blocking of the expansion device. We are talking about the blocking of the expansion device. Okay, we talked about the blocking. Blocking will is bound to occur even if we are using a single snow chamber. Listen it carefully. You can separate out the liquid here, but then when you are sending it to the snow chamber, no doubt in snow chamber the solid carbon dioxide is getting produced. From that snow chamber you will have to separate out the vapor and separate out the solid CO2. So that can also be choked. Okay, so what we do actually, uh, there are basically we use two snow chambers. Okay, in one snow chamber we store the liquid, in one snow chamber we produce the solid CO2, and then we alternately use one of each of them. Okay, so I will show you, then you would be able to understand it in a better way. So this diagram, this is the diagram. It says pressure snow chamber method with ammonia in the cascade circuit for the manufacture of dry ice. Okay, so what's the time right now? It's 12:47. So okay, I will try to explain it. So first of all, you should see focus here only on this particular diagram. I am going to enlarge it. Let me see if I could enlarge it. No, just wait for a minute. Okay, can you see it now clearly?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let us try to understand. So I am starting from point number 1. Okay, at point number 1 you can see this pressure here is, you can say, 1.01325. Okay, then we have here we have makeup gas, and here at 13 we have the vapor of CO2 which was produced during the expansion in the snow chamber. Okay, this is vapor of CO2 and this is the makeup gas, and the solid carbon dioxide has already been separated out. So it is sent to the low pressure compressor. This is low pressure compressor, LPC. Okay, after at point number 2 the pressure is somewhere around uh, like I told you, it is either 4.1. So exact value you will read in the uh, slide actually. So I am considering it to be 4.1 at point number 2. But when it is compressed to point number 2, the temperature is very high. Temperature is very high. So here between 2 to 3 we have a sort of intercooler, means the CO2 gas is losing heat to the surrounding, because when we add the makeup gas, the temperature here, I don't know the exact value, but it could be, say, if I say it is 10 degrees Celsius also, because at point number 13 the temperature was minus 78.2 degrees Celsius. Makeup gas we consider at 35 degrees Celsius. So finally I can consider that the temperature at point number 1 at the entry to the low pressure compressor is, say, 10 degrees Celsius. We are compressing this gas and the temperature then increases. Naturally, the temperature will go above the atmospheric temperature. That is, we are considering it to be 35 degrees Celsius. So because it is more, so we are utilizing a cooler sort of thing, or sensible cooler. We have supplied a sensible heat exchanger, and with the help of this sensible heat exchanger we are trying to reduce the temperature of the CO2 before it enters into the next stage. Okay, so before it enters into the next stage we have reduced its temperature near to that of the ambient temperature, but naturally it has to be above the ambient, because during heat exchange you cannot reduce the temperature to the level of the surrounding temperature. Now, for the timing, let us forget about what is happening here at point number 10. I am saying that now this gas is going into the next stage, and it is the high pressure compressor. Okay, it is the high pressure compressor, and it is compressed to say, let us say, yes, it is compressed to say 20 bar. Okay, earlier it was compressed up to 4.1, and here you can also say that it is 16.81 bar also. Okay, depends. So 16.81. So once again, the temperature will be higher here at point number 5. So we have utilized another heat exchanger here. Okay, this is the heat exchanger. From this heat exchanger, the heat is lost to the surroundings. Then it is passed. Now this is actually, you can say, there are two compressors in this circuit actually. So it's a compound compression. It is compound compression. Okay, and after the compound compression, this is the condenser of compound system, not compressor, condenser. Just a minute. So this is the condenser. So what will happen? So when the CO2 will pass through this circuit at point number 7, what we are going to get? We are going to get CO2, which is in saturated liquid form, and it would be at a temperature of point number 6. So you can say temperature at 6 and temperature at 7 will be same. So the exact value can only be found from the calculations. Now what we are doing now, this component which we are calling as the condenser, this is the evaporator of the other circuit. This is the evaporator for the cascade system, which is the high temperature cascade. So see, there are two things. The lower circuit is a compound compression in which there are low pressure compressor and high pressure compressor. But this compound compression in some way also acting as low temperature circuit of a cascade system. And this is the high temperature circuit for the cascade. So in the high temperature circuit, we are using ammonia as the refrigerant, whereas in the low temperature circuit, we are using CO2 as the refrigerant. Is it clear? So whatever is the heat that is to be rejected in the condenser, that is actually given to the ammonia liquid which is entering here. This is the expansion valve of the vapor compression cycle for the ammonia circuit. From here, it goes into the evaporator. I told you this is the evaporator of the ammonia circuit. It takes the heat from the CO2 because CO2 is at a high temperature at point number 6 even after cooling. It is above the atmospheric temperature. So it gives its heat to the ammonia here, and the ammonia at this particular point is saturated ammonia. You can consider it is saturated ammonia, and then it is compressed in the you can say this is LHT condenser, high temperature compressor, actually not condenser, high temperature compressor. Okay, so it is compressed here, then it goes to this particular point B, then it is ammonia is condensed here, then once again it goes back to the evaporator. So that is how the cycle is taking place. So I hope this part is clear to you. Is it anything you would like to know about it, whatever I have told you, or is it clear? Yes, tell me. Okay, I am assuming that this is clear to you. So I am going to next slide because now I will like to explain you about this part of the system. So just wait a minute. Okay, once again. Now we were here actually at point number 7, and I said you we have the saturated liquid CO2 here. So now what we do, this saturated liquid CO2 is now going to the expansion device. This is the expansion device. this is the valve actually. Okay, this is also a valve, and then you can say the expansion will take place in snow chamber. Now there are two snow chambers. These are snow chambers. Okay, so what we do now, these will work, you can say these will work alternately these will work. It is written here, these are pressure snow chambers. So this is chamber number 2, this is chamber number 1. Now let us focus here. So let us first focus on chamber number 2. So just focus here. So here you can see between 7 to 8, what is happening? The pressure has been reduced. The valve, okay, first of all, see here, this valve is open. Okay, this valve is open, whereas valve B is closed. Now just try to look at the valves. B is closed, F is open, okay, E is closed, D is closed, and C is open. Okay, so you have to keep an eye on all these valves, only then you would be able to understand. Now what happens here? This liquid is stored, means during the cycle, the liquid is stored here at 6 bar. Okay, and you can see, just a minute, I will go back to the you can say we let us read it from here, then you would be able to understand it in a better manner. Okay, now we were talking here that when there was the problem of blockage actually. Okay, so let us see it here. This problem of blockage can be eliminated by first producing liquid CO2 at a pressure slightly above the triple point pressure, and then reducing its pressure to 1 atmosphere in a snow chamber. Okay, so this is what has been shown here. So first of all, from point number 7, this is liquid. I told you, I explained you this point. At point number 7, it is expanded up to point number 8, which is just above the pressure of 5.18 bar. This is 5.18, this line pressure, and above it at 8, it could be around 5.3 bar also, or 5.4 bar, something like that. So we are coming up to point number 8 only. This makes it necessary to have two snow chambers, one receiving liquid carbon dioxide at a pressure higher than triple point pressure, and other reducing the pressure to form solid CO2 and vapor, both working alternately. Both working alternately. So basically means in one of these snow chambers we are producing liquid, in the other snow chamber we are producing solid CO2, and both are working alternately. Means that first, if the liquid is formed in this snow chambers, means in snow chamber number 2, then solid carbon dioxide will be formed in snow chamber number 1, and then we will switch over them. Switch over them means in the next cycle, the snow chamber number 2, because it is already having the liquid CO2, it will be utilized for producing the solid carbon dioxide, whereas we will be storing the liquid of the CO2 in snow chamber number 1. So here we will store the liquid. Is this point clear to you? Is this point clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So right now it's already 1. So probably what I will do, I will once again record this lecture and send you. Or we have a class tomorrow also? Do we have a class tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
No, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I will continue it tomorrow. Okay.
सर सेमिनार
Yes.
का एक चीज़ पूछना था सर, हमें सर फॉर्मेट क्या रखना है सर, जैसे हमें क्या इंक्लूड करना है प्रेजेंटेशन में?
अरे प्रेजेंटेशन में जो आप पढ़ोगे उसको इंक्लूड करो.